Imagine the dead of night, silent except for the faint whooshing of wind. Suddenly, a barely audible engine breaks the quiet, followed by explosions in the distance. This was the reality for Nazi soldiers during World War II when they faced a terrifying enemy, women pilots dropping bombs from the night sky. These fearless warriors were known as the Night Witches. In 1941, when Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union, the Soviet Air Force was struggling to keep up with the onslaught. Desperate for air power, the Soviets turned to a surprising new force: women. Under the leadership of Major Marina Raskova, 3 all-female aviation regiments were formed, one of which would go on to become legend, the 588th Night Bomber Regiment. These women would soon be known by a name that would strike fear into the hearts of their enemies: the Nachthexen, or Night Witches, a name given to them by the Germans due to their stealthy bombing tactics. The Night Witches flew crude, outdated Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes, wood and canvas aircraft designed for crop dusting. Their planes were slow, highly flammable, and offered almost no protection. But this turned out to be a hidden advantage. These planes were too slow to be tracked by enemy radars, and their ability to fly low made them difficult to spot. At night, the Night Witches would cut their engines just before reaching their target, silently gliding over enemy lines before releasing their bombs. The only sound the German soldiers would hear was the eerie whoosh of the wind as the planes flew overhead. It was like the swoop of a witch's broom, hence their terrifying nickname. Despite their bravery and skill, the Night Witches faced constant challenges. Not only did they have to contend with outdated planes, but they also flew without the luxury of radar, parachutes, or radios. The women endured freezing temperatures, enemy fire, and dangerous missions that often had them flying 8 to 10 sorties a night. Major Marina Raskova's vision of an all-female regiment was also met with skepticism and ridicule, as many in the Soviet military didn't believe women were capable of such daring feats. But the Night Witches proved them wrong, completing over 30,000 bombing raids during the war and playing a vital role in defending the Soviet Union. Some of the most famous Night Witches include Nadezhda Popova, who flew 852 missions, and Yevdokia Bershanskaya, the regiment's commanding officer. Despite their heroism, many of these women went unrecognized for years. However, their legacy as trailblazers in aviation and wartime heroes has endured. By the end of the war in 1945, the Night Witches had become one of the most decorated regiments in the Soviet Air Force. 30 of these women were awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union, but sadly, they suffered heavy losses along the way. The Night Witches were not only warriors, but pioneers, breaking down barriers in aviation, combat, and the military at large. Their nocturnal raids and daring missions remain a legendary chapter in World War II history.